Okay, to start off with, I'm going to go through all the things that you get when you purchase a TM7. Okay, so the first thing, I'll just move this out the way, that you're going to want to know about is your bowl and blade set. So this is a new type of bowl and blade set, and it is safer for people to use. It has this outer casing on it, so this does not get hot. The old ones were stainless steel and they would get hot. Now, inside this bowl, there are these ribs on the inside. These ribs are there specifically to help you mix your ingredients. So without them, the blades in the bottom would just spin food around, and I'm pretty sure that you've all seen that happen with those see-through bowls on other food processors. The food just tends to spin around. Where what happens is the food hits one of these and pushes back into the center so that the blades pick it back up again. So it's constantly getting turned into the middle of your bowl, which is absolutely clever. I don't know of any other device that does that. You'll also see that down the side, I don't know if you can see that okay, but there are, oh no, maybe not. There are markings down the side here that tells you how much liquid is going to go in here. So if your Thermomix says fill this up to 1 litre, then you know that you can fill it up to this mark, or 500 ml to this mark. Now, you'll get told to do that in some instances, and it's a bit of a pain to find another container to fill up. So what you can do is you can take this over to your sink, fill it up with water, bring it back and set it on your scales, but this will give you an indication of how much to fill up with water so that you don't have to worry about finding another container. To remove this from the bowl, all you need to do is use this lever on the side, and you just slide it and your blade comes straight out like that. The old one had a mechanism where you had to turn the base, which was quite hard to do for some people, especially me when carpal tunnel. But this one comes apart really easily. You just move it away from the bowl like this, and this is your locking bowl. So this goes back in. You line this black line up with the handle, pop it straight in like that. Your blade then sits straight in. It just sits in, and then you turn your little lever and that locks it in place. So super easy, much easier than before. The next thing that I'll show you is the lid. Now this lid is a new locking lid mechanism. So when you see the bowl here, you'll see that there is a bit here that moves. What happens is when the Thermomix gets over speed 4, this will lock the lid onto your unit so that there's no splashing or any spills. So that is the new locking mechanism, and it is much faster than the old-fashioned arms. And of course, you know, you don't have to worry about cleaning it because it's all enclosed. This is the lid, which has little holes in here that you can see through that will actually help with steam. This is called the lid cap now rather than the MC. They removed the MC because people would forget to put it in. Even if you have this on and you turn the dial up so that there's speed, it won't splash too much. But of course it is recommended that if you're going to mix really quick, especially with hot liquids, you have your lid cap on. The lid cap is awesome because what happens is steam comes up through here, it hits the top of your lid cap and actually goes back down, and that will keep your moisture inside your bowl. If you want to have the lid off and have steam come out, you just take the lid cap off, but this will help stop splatters and spitting. All right, so that's that. The next thing that you get with your Thermomix is this thing. It's called a butterfly, and it is used for aeration. So if you were whipping egg whites or making a mayonnaise or something like that, and you needed to aerate what was in the bowl, that just sits into your bowl like this. There's a bit of a myth where people say that you have to have it a certain way. You don't. It just simply sits on top like this. You do not go over speed 4. In fact, it does say on here speed 4, so that if you forget. The reason why it says that is they don't want it to come up, go sideways and chop. So over speed 4, they know that this will not come off. So yeah, so speed 4, and you really don't need to go over speed 4 anyway. It's very quick and it works perfectly fine. So that's your new butterfly. It is slightly different to the old one. It's got more rungs on it that gives it more aeration. And now this is the basket that you get with your Thermomix. This sits inside the bowl, and this is good for steaming. It's good for rice. It's you could put all sorts of things in here, vegetables. You could have a sauce in the bottom, vegetables in here, and I'll show you the varoma in a sec. But that sits inside. The other older units, you used to have to put the basket that came with it on top here to stop splatters. You could still do that if you wanted to, but of course your lid cap works better than this now. So that's that. This works really well with your spatula. The spatula goes into the unit like this, and you take it out and you can flip out your rice or whatever you have, and that's that. This is the spatula that comes with your TM7. I recommend to people not to use this for probably about a month, depending on how often you use your Thermomix, of course. When you first get your Thermomix, your blades are super sharp. They actually blunt down just a little bit, but not enough that you need to get them sharpened. Never get these sharpened. They don't need to be sharpened. So that's another myth. Yeah, if you use this against the blades for the first month or so, then you're going to cut nicks into this. But once that's worn back a little bit, you'll be absolutely fine. And you use this around the sides of the bowl and for cleaning out your sauces and such. Okay, so it's got a little notch on here, so when you sit it on the bench, it doesn't touch, this end doesn't touch, so that you don't dirty your bench. This section here, like I say, it goes into your basket. If your basket is really hot and you can't like grab it, you can pick it up this way, tip out the goods this way, and that's for that. There's also a little thing on the bottom here, which I don't tend to use, but I know some people do. If you've got dough in your bowl and you don't want to put your hands inside, you can actually use this to turn the base, and it will help release the dough. All right, so next is the varoma. Now the varoma has changed quite a bit. It's a bit more stylish than it was before. It is larger than it was before. So I didn't have too much of a problem with the old one because we're only cooking for 2 mainly. But for things like making yogurt in a larger dish, I use my varoma to make my yogurt. That is working brilliantly for me. There are some new steaming ramekins that are coming which fit in here. There's also a mold that's coming that's really awesome. So this is used for steaming, and you can put 2 layers of steaming. So So just for instance, if you were cooking a curry in the base, or a soup or sauce or something in the base of your Thermomix bowl, you can put potatoes in this one, and in this one you could put vegetables that cook quickly, and halfway through the cooking time you could have it all prepared, ready to go, have your potatoes steaming, add halfway through the time you could add your vegetables that take less amount of time to cook, and you put them in halfway through, put the lid on, and you're good to go. And you can have your whole meal cooking in one unit at the same time, which I quite often do. I mainly use just the larger part of my varoma. I'll show you that again. So I use this base part. We have broccoli because it's so good for you and so readily available. We have broccoli often, like nearly every night, and I will cut my broccoli florets, put them in here, and put my lid on. So if I'm cooking risotto or anything in here and I cut my broccoli fine enough, you can put that in there and just steam that gently through and have that cook at the same time. All right, so that's the steamer, and these are all the things that you get when you purchase your TM7.